pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item tonight would be the minutes for November 19th, 2020 board meeting. I'm asking for a motion for the approval of that, for those minutes, please.
I motion to approve minutes from November 19th.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion so approved. Next line item tonight would be the personnel.
First item on personnel for this evening, seeking approval for Will Pryor to be the 7-8 and 5-6 grade girls head basketball coach.
I'll make the motion to approve that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved.
Lauren Yaks to be his assistant for the 7th and 8th grade girls.
Make a motion to approve her.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion approved.
Angela Pryor to be one of the 5th and 6th grade assistant coaches.
I'll make a motion to approve her.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved.
And Mallory Schoen to be the 5th, 6th girls basketball assistant.
Make a motion to approve Mallory.
I'll second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved.
Thank you.
Next item this evening will be the claim docket.
Make a motion to approve the claim docket.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. And the following item would be the balance sheet. Are there any questions by the board of the balance sheet? Next line item tonight would be then public comments. Are there any public comments on the agenda items this evening?
I got a comment,
Sir?
Tim.
Yes.
I did, number 8, office space rental LaCrosse. Can you expand on that, please?
Yes. I had a local company really out of the English Lake area is where he lives, but Gene Pugh runs Pugh Pipeline. You might be familiar with Buckeye Pipeline in the northwest Indiana area. Gene worked for them for years, retired. They rehired him, basically his own business then, to do the same thing that he did for them. Long story short, his company needs to maintain an outside office space. And for the last couple of years, they had been renting a space from North Judson in their junior high building. For whatever reason, they went looking for a different venue and reached out to me to see if we had a space available to rent to them. So it's essentially it's a requirement for them to have maintain a business residence, but my understanding is it's extremely lightly used. So anyways, and the fee for the annual rental would be $2,500 is what we had come up with.
Is this like during school time then, when it's rented?
Yes. It would be for the year 2021 if the board chose to do that.
Oh,
Any additional public comments?
Oh, since you brought that up, is there actually a physical space that would be assigned to them,
Yes,
other than just using the address?
correct. There is a physical space that they could utilize as an office. Most recently, that space had housed the transportation office, which is essentially inside my office now. I have an extra desk to maintain those duties. Over the years, that space has been utilized, high school office, elementary office back in the day.
Okay.
Most recently for us, our guidance counselor was in there, but she moved up to the middle level into Brian's old office. So, yes.
And then, I wanted to go back to the balance sheet number 5. If you could share with us, please, what categories you're looking at and what you're balancing, or what did it come out to? What's your total that you balance? So I'm just trying to figure out, how many different categories, and what is it that you're looking at? Because we have no idea since we don't have it to look at.
Right. So then it's just a listing of all of our different funds with a total ending balance currently of 1.421 million and some change across all of those various funds. The main ones are listed at the top. The ones that you'd be most familiar with from these meetings: the education, debt service, operations, rainy day. We have construction fund account listed there, a school lunch fund, textbook rental, many various grant funds, because those all have to be populated into their own fund number.
Right. Okay. So you said that the total balance out of all the funds, this is the current total balance?
Correct.
The end of year balance?
Through 11/30.
Through November 30th.
Through November 30th?
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think I counted 31 different funds or accounts that.
That makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Regarding the rental, would he have access to the building throughout the summer when school's not in session?
If we chose to do that, they could have access to that. I mean, I'm there all summer. Our central office staff is there all summer.
Okay.
So it would be possible. Yes?
How safe is that going to be to have these people going in and out here in the school year with kids in there, learning?
So, like I stated a minute ago, it's like a very lightly used office space. Essentially, the task they would maintain it for would be a computer program for new hires, which I asked the question, how often do you have new hires? Rarely. So I don't want to say that it is a facade of an office, but it meets their requirement for having a business address office space. Their HR person might maintain a file drawer in there, but indicated to me she does most of that business actually closer to a job site on a laptop computer.
But they would have access, they would have keys to go in and out.
I hadn't determined yet on keys. They could have access. I mean, if they're going to maintain it as an office, they would need to have access. But We haven't gotten so far as to that level of specifics because I just brought this up to the board this past week through email in preparation for tonight.
My personal suggestion would be when you guys do make that discussion, if you choose to go ahead, is that you quantify in your contractual agreement with them, and not use terminology like very lightly, because that's very subjective, it has no meaning. It might, to them, that might mean 5 times in the whole year, or it could mean 5 times in a month. I
Sure.
don't know.
Okay.
Will you guys be releasing the claims dockets after tonight's meeting? Or will we need to submit a records request and wait about a month for it to be compiled? I mean, you guys do have a copy.
We do. You can submit a records request and have it tomorrow morning.
Okay, I have one with me.
Okay.
Another question, looking at your claims dockets from October, Mr. Shepherd was reimbursed $492 for mileage. What was the mileage for?
Right.
School business?
Could you be more specific?
Um,
It's a lot of miles.
It's a big month.
Sure. Do you remember things that you might have gone to
Let's see.
in that mileage?
Various meetings. We have meetings of the special ed co-op, of which the 5 county schools, except Michigan City, are the board of directors for that. So there's travel to LaPorte. Any travel outside the district. Let's see, I was providing water to the students at the high school since we can't use the drinking fountains. So a couple trips to Costco to buy bottles of water, stock the fridge for those. Moving buses around, if I had to shuttle buses involving my personal vehicle, that might be on the list. Various needs, let's see, I took a trip to get keys made. That we needed a set of keys for a door, and we use a locksmith in Valparaiso. There was a time when I ran up to Michigan City to Gordon's Food Service because Annette needed some bread for the lunchroom. You want more?
I think that covers it.
Okay.
Is this the same those same sort of responsibilities true for the other administrators who also had similar mileage reimbursements?
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, I'll tell you, mine wasn't from 1 month.
Okay, multiple months built up.
Mine is throughout, I think that was the first one I turned in since May.
Okay.
So, basketball season, can get, if I'm going to a lot of away games where we have to have supervision, sectional stuff like that, but, COVID hit, so I didn't do a lot of travel in the spring. But I kind of picked back up when the volleyball season picked back up, so, I don't know if yours was, mine was an extended period of time.
It was.
Usually I only do mine.
I know how they
at
build
a
up
certain
and,
level.
yeah.
I build it up so it's not just a monthly thing that you.
Sure.
And mine's not a monthly thing either. I didn't catch the month statement at the beginning, but.
That's not what I was implying.
Probably
but yeah.
that one was, I'd have to go back and look for the specific form. I'd imagine 3 months
Okay,
worth on that.
makes sense. When will you guys be appointing or creating the technical review committee, and who will make those appointments?
The board makes those appointments, technical review committees. Am I correct in saying that's what you did previous, the last one?
We did this, yes.
I think at the last meeting, you guys had indicated that you would make that decision this month. Is that going to be later in the month or in January?
Currently, it would most likely be in January. We don't anticipate another meeting between tonight and the regular board meeting in January.
Okay. And will those technical review committee meetings be open to the public?
That's a great question. This will be my first go-around with the technical review committee, so.
I don't recall, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm not sure myself. I'm trying to think the last time we had anything like this, and I
Can't remember either.
Yeah, I honestly don't recall. I don't, as a board member, I wasn't at some, I know because I was on the technical committee, so I don't know if there was anybody, there might have been an option at that time, but I don't recall if it was or not. How that all works, it's new to me.
My impression from reading statute is that they are supposed to be open to the public, but I just wanted to see what you guys would say. And then does the school plan to finalize the office space lease agreement this month in this meeting, or is this something that you guys are working towards? I know you have it down for approval.
Yes, I have it on for approval tonight, but that's up to the board to decide if that's what they want to do or not.
Okay, and then your guys' executive session afterwards with collective bargaining is the exemption that you marked. Who are you guys collective bargaining with?
It's preparation for this coming year's, the fall, which is just months away at this point, collective bargaining season with
Okay.
our teachers.
So the teachers union?
Yeah, our 2-year contract is coming to a close, and so that process will start here in the next couple months. And I have some information in regards to that I want to share with the board tonight.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Yes.
Concerning the office space rental, will that space need to be renovated or fixed up in any way, shape, or form? Because I know there was a concern about the air quality and the moisture level in that room.
Yeah, and also heating and cooling. We're still currently having some issues with that. That's a separate heating system. There's no plans right now for any renovation. I do need to get advanced mechanical in to find out why the heat sometimes kicks on and sometimes does not. But no plans for renovations.
So
The
it's
space,
usable space as it is now?
it's usable. Our athletic director, for his, he's part-time currently, and he utilizes that space. That's the corner space that's kind of subdivided. It has a main space and then 2 smaller offices
Yes.
in the back.
And then, why did the guidance counselor move out of that space?
Because of the heat fluctuating on her, and so she came up to Brian's.
Okay.
And it's easier for her to be closer to you, so.
Okay, that's my only
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I have a question regarding the office space rental at LaCrosse. In order for folks to work at a high school or school, do they have to have background checks?
Yes,
Okay, so that's not something that would be able to be done to whoever rents the space?
sure. We could require background checks, and we would.
And since it would be new hires, it would be a constant coming of new people. I mean, you don't know, I suppose, how many or when, whether, but it just doesn't sound like it's a great idea to.
Okay.
I just, doesn't sound like it's a great idea, but especially with the background check and, it's a school, it's not a business. And my other question is, are we going to be able to ask you any further questions regarding the closing of LaCrosse High School?
There's nothing on the agenda this evening in regards to that.
Will there be anything in the future where there, so that we could discuss with the school board?
Yeah, I anticipate items being on next month.
On the 21st of January, for folks to ask questions regarding the LaCrosse, closing of LaCrosse High School?
Yeah, because we always have a spot on our agenda for comments on the agenda items. So when there's a listed item on there,
Okay.
just like you did about this office rental space, you can,
I just want to be able to, ask further questions regarding the closing of it.
okay.
Mr. Sheila, did you have something else?
No, it's not on the agenda, so I thought I better wait then.
Okay.
I'll ask next
All
month.
right, thank you. Okay, if there are no other questions, we'll move on to the next line item, high school dismissal.
So for the past, couple months at least, well, let me go back. Typically, the shuttle bus was ran from Wanata by Mr. Stark. With his school day ending at the end of the day at the time that it did, he would hop on a bus, go up to the high school, pick up our high school kids that need to be brought down here so they could be dispersed to the other 3 or 4 buses that are here waiting on them. For whatever reason, Mr. Stark was not able to continue doing that for us. So what's happened for the last couple of months is between myself or Mr. McMahon or Mr. McGowan, we've been utilizing one or two short buses and bringing our high school kids down. Well, what that's led to, because whoever, one of us, at least one of us, if not two, are also having to drive a route and get here and be in line. Long story short, we've been having to get those kids, high school kids that need a ride down here, they've been having to leave last period class early. Now that Mr. McMahon has switched to a block schedule this year, we wanted to come up with a better solution for second semester. And obviously we don't want our high school kids missing class time. But we want to adjust the high school dismissal time, because now that we have 90-minute blocks, we figured between 2 to 3 minutes off each class period and a minute off the passing periods in between, we can back that dismissal time back to 2:30, and those kids aren't missing class time, and we can get them down here, and it just, the transportation machine then runs more smoothly, and we're not interrupting teachers and having some kids left behind in class and some kids needing to rush down here to get dispersed on the bus. So we're asking approval for making that scheduling change for second semester.
I'll make a motion to adjust the schedule. Or you-
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved.
So, and I've already, number 8, the office space for LaCrosse. I know just this week I sent an email out to you. The rental, the number that we came up, basically what they had been paying to rent North Judson a space in one of their unused office areas, is what they reached out to us to see if we would be interested in having them do that. And basically, the way I read it is we get $2,500 to use towards something. My thought on that was, it's the transportation space that was being used. I'd like to see that utilized in the transportation area. It's also partially the athletic director space that's being used. It could partially be used for something in athletics. But that's, I think maybe there's obviously there's been quite a bit of discussion about that from the group, so.
I guess my opinion is it's probably, for $2,500, it's probably a can of worms we don't need to have open. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I just don't, I guess.
I'd like to meet on it, discuss it more.
Okay.
I don't know that renting, it's a really good idea with all the COVID concerns we have now, safety issues, bring other people into school with kids. I don't feel it's in our best interest. I don't really think you can put a price on bringing outside people into a school building like that, personal feeling. I don't care if it's 2,500 or 25,000. Just, we got a lot of things going right now, and I don't know that we need to add something else and then worry about virus concerns, safety issues, who they're bringing in, more background checks, putting more on your plate, following up with that, or his plate, following up with that. I don't think it's in our best interest to do it personally.
Okay. Is it something you'd like to table and get more information, or would you like to go ahead and just kill it where it lies?
What was their timeline that they needed it in?
It's open. It's open.
Well, we don't have to completely kill it. I guess my inclination is probably, I go along with Fathead's thoughts, but I guess we could leave it somewhat open, but it's in case something would change in our mindset or something, revelation would come up, but I'm kind of with him. I don't think, if it was 25,000, I'd probably look a little more strongly at it, but 2,500 just doesn't seem like it's enough for the potential
I
pitfalls.
think I agree too. I think there's more, it's 2,500. Nothing's worth getting a risk for if someone's hurt, COVID, people going in and out.
What do you think, a motion to
Yeah,
table?
yeah, just a motion to table for a later period. I agree that we needed to get further facts and understand how it be utilized, and that kids are the most important, so we need to make sure, again, background checks, all those things need to be considered if there is consideration after we table it. Make sure those things are contracted so they understand their obligations. So do I have a motion by the board to table this for a later meeting?
I'll make a motion to table item 8 to a later meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
Thank you. We will table that. And if you think of more questions, email me, that way I know what to go digging on for more information. Number 9, and this one has basically already in the process of being replaced. But I had emailed you earlier about, on our Wanatall boiler here, an electronic valve part. And Scott is going to get us the old part so we have any clue what this thing is. But it is a $5,000 item, has to be replaced. It is 22 years old is the lifespan we got out of it, but it has started to fail, and so it is in the process of being replaced. And so I need approval for that.
I'll make a motion to replace the electronic valve, or the electronic valve on the Wanton boiler for $5,000.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved.
All right, thank you. I know the day we had today, I didn't get to talk to either one of you about principal reports.
We're doing okay here at Wanata. I looked at my notes from last year, and it's really unfortunate we're missing out on a few things, like our community Christmas program that I looked forward to last year, and it was a celebration amongst the community members. It packs the parking lot and fills this room. I look back at my notes, but still proud of all the efforts that our teachers and our students are doing. I'm proud of our kids that are here in person and our virtual learners as well through these times. Our teachers are doing their best. I want to let the community know that it is taxing on the teachers right now to try to do 2 platforms of in-person learning with most of the students, plus a virtual platform that has so many variables that it's hard to get into specifics, but it's a difficult task. But I assure you that our staff here is up to that challenge, and we're going to continue into the new year with, again, the plan that we have here of in-person learning. We feel that's best for the students in the building. All right? But we did finish up our basketball season, our cheer season. We're trying to give the students as much normal as we can. I mean, that's a conscious goal of the adults in this building here, and we try to do that every day.
Just want to echo some of the things Chris said. Last month I had to be out of the building. I was in quarantine, and the staff just did an amazing job of covering my duties, covering their own duties, and it's been like that for the whole entire year. So I'm just pleased with our staff, our parents, even our students. They've done everything they possibly can. They're following everything that we need them to at school. I usually, at this point, I'd be talking about basketball seasons. Our boys have had 1 game. Our girls got 9 in before we had to put a pause on them. We're hoping after Christmas. The boys will start back next week. The girls will start back after Christmas. But the kids, even when I have to come down and bring to the office and say, hey, I have to send you home because you're a close contact, they're not belly aching. They're not being upset about it. They might be upset inside, but they're understanding, and I think they all understand it. They all appreciate when they get to be in school. We have a lot of kids that want to be in person. And so just everyone that's sacrificing and putting in hard work, bus drivers, teachers, lunch people, just everyone's pulling together. So, and it's something that I've known LaCrosse and want to talk to do. It's just a Tri-Township way, I think it is. So just very appreciative for everybody and what we've been able to accomplish so far, and hopefully we can keep it going for the whole entire year. So
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would just add to that, it's really, we talk about it a lot. We get a bus, somebody that can drive a bus coming back into kind of COVID eligibility. As we find out, somebody else has got to go. So somehow it just swings back around, and there's a piece to fill a need, and we keep, we kind of laugh about it sometimes, like, we were this close to having to shut her down for a little bit, but we just got in under the wire, so we are very thankful for that. And lastly, I know I made you guys aware, and I don't know if the whole school community, but we lost somebody that in the last week or so, Mary Pearson, that had been helping us out. Spent some number of years helping in the kitchen, and then the last two for me, when the kitchen work got to be too much for her, we had her watching our kids at LaCrosse before they get on the bus in the morning. Just an hour of work, and she would show up an hour and a half early to do that 1 hour of work and supervise those kids. So just a little shout out to Mary and the help she provided us.
Next line item, SA5 report.
Make a motion to approve the November SA5 reports.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion approved. Just a fast question, like how badly are both of our athletic funds being affected with all the games being canceled and?
I'll let Brian speak to that.
Volleyball season, we were in the positive. We did finish there. We've had to make some changes with beginning the girls' basketball season to limiting how many people we can have in the gym. We are probably looking at, on a good night, we're losing $100. So for people saying that, you know, Mr. Moore was penny pinching for a long time, it's actually helping us right now. We have some of that cushion, so we're trying to find different ways to make sure we break even. You know, we've been trying to do live streaming too, and it has been the greatest, but we do have a camera now that Tuesday, that'll be the first night we use it for the boys, and people will pay a monthly fee for it, and you know, we're not gonna get too much of that money, but
Is that on our website too, Brian?
we'll end up putting the links up there so that people can get to it. But yeah, so I'm hoping maybe beginning of the year, we might be able to, you know, open it maybe a little bit up, a little bit more. But yeah, it's definitely taking a toll.
And we share revenue with the PCC tournament, correct? So
Yeah, and the PCC tournament is, we had a conversation today, the PCC principals, ADs met yesterday, trying to figure out how, you know, we're gonna try to at least break even for that tournament. I think that's the number, what keeps talking about is let's break even, so. That used to be, you know, 2,500 people on championship night, and now we have to split the games up, and they're gonna be different locations. But we do have, our RSN is going to broadcast every game online, so at least people can still see the games. But it's gonna look like just parents and siblings, and that's it, are gonna be allowed at every game right now. So,
thank you.
Can I say something really quick? For phone calls for COVID, I just want to say we're not allowed to say if teachers have had COVID or not. And I've had a few phone calls that a teacher, you know, was back at school or whatever. Well, what parents don't realize is that teacher could have had it over the summer, or that teacher could have had it, you know, last year. So if they're back at school, there's, you know, we're doing everything by the health department. Everything's being done, everything's safe. I think we've done really, really well with the COVID. So I just want to, you know, a lot of people don't take that into consideration. So.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, a quick shout out to our school nurse.
She's been great.
Fantastic. just doing a great job with the tracking process, but also following the FERPA, HIPAA requirements and all of that too, so. She takes a lot of that frustration from people.
Any word on where teachers and educators will go? I'm sure they should be at the front of the, somewhere at the front of the line as far as getting vaccinated.
The CDC has kind of recategorized educators and kind of put them into that very, very important category. So I don't know specifically where they will fall, but I wouldn't think we'd be too far behind once all the healthcare workers are. So that's promising too.
The next item would be an adjournment. We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Again, thank you for everyone's attendance. Our next meeting will be at LaCrosse on January 21st. Thank you.